Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Hi, I'm Mary Corrado from Mary Corrado Designs. And today I am so excited to be showing you a fun project using Amy Howard's products. Today I'm not going to be showing you a painted finish, but I am going to show you a piece of decor that is something that I saw when I was in a boutique hotel, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. Now, some of us are collectors. Some of us have things from maybe our childhood or growing up, or if you're like me, from the 80s, I collected matchbooks like crazy. And it was just kind of my little souvenir of either fun places I had been or fun restaurants, travels, all that good stuff. So when I was in Memphis, I saw this acrylic tray that was filled with matchbooks encased in resin, and I thought it was the cutest thing. It is the most fun little, conversation starter for your house. I love really unique, one-of-a-kind accessories for your home. I think your furniture is one thing, and then I think your accessories tells another story altogether. So I'm going to show you how to make this, and so let's get started. Now, thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and let's keep going. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera down. Now, if there's anything that you can't hear or I'm not doing, if the camera's on the wrong angle or anything, please let me know, because this is my very first live and we're going to get through this just fine. But just in case. Okay. Hi, Amy. Hi, Robert. Thanks for watching, you guys. Okay, I'm going to turn it down, and oh, you know what? Let me do this first. I'm going to show you exactly what we need for this project. We need matchbooks, obviously. We need matte sealer, and this matte sealer I'm actually going to be coating on the matchbooks because it helps for the resin not to soak into the actual material itself, the paper. We are going to also need just some regular glue, just some clear glue. We need gloves. We need our resin glacier hardener and our resin from Amy Howard. We need brushes, containers to measure. I like to use plastic spoons versus the wood sticks. I feel like it helps reduce a little bit of the bubbles as you mix. And if you have a heat gun, that's even better. So we'll okay, now we can get started. We'll turn down the camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see this just perfectly. I'm going to tighten it up. Okay. So here is a matchbook. This is how I always get started. I take my matte sealer and I just use a brush and I coat these everywhere, just with a good coat of matte sealer. It will dry clear. It will dry matte, but it will help seal this paper because when you work with resin, it tends to soak in. Now, you don't have to do this step, but it does, I think, it just keeps the integrity of the matchbook cover, because when you have a resin that soaks into the paper, it kind of makes it a little more transparent and it loses some of its original look. So this, this is a step that takes a little while. With each matchbook, you're going to have to be doing that. I will dry it off just so I can show you then how I kind of line these up. Okay, let's do this. Let's push this aside, and I'm going to show you what I do. What I have learned is if you use a grid like this and you have your tray, let me see, make sure that's all lined up perfectly for you guys to see. And let's say this is all done. This has been coated. What I do is then I take a coat of glue and I put it on the back, because when you glue down your piece before you pour your resin, let that dry, it will stay in place. It won't lift through the resin. So what I do is I line them up. I like to maybe take these matches that can open and show matches. I usually open them and do that. But see how you can line up really, really nicely with the grid underneath. So what I do is I continue to just kind of stack my matchbooks. Okay, stack the matchbooks. Get them all glued down. Once that dries, then we're ready to pour the resin. I want to make sure you guys can see this. Can you see this pretty well? Okay. Okay. So once that's done, I have got my tray ready to go. Now this has all been coated. This is all glued on, and it's ready for the resin. So to mix the resin, you always want equal parts of the hardener and the resin itself.
We have reason to believe that the video ended.
What?
Is it still live?
Yes.
Okay. Still looks good?
Am I still on here? Can you guys still see me?
Are there viewers and everything?
Yes. Somebody has told me that maybe this isn't live, but I think it is.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to continue on. I'm good. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to continue on. Okay, so now we're going to do equal parts of the resin. Now, the trays usually take quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is fill this all the way full and do equal parts of the other. The hardener is always a little thinner than the actual resin. But then I'm going to have to pour this into a larger container. Okay. Thanks for bearing with me, you guys. My first live, and I've got helpers from the side, and they're telling me all kinds of things. So anyway, okay, I'm going to pour this in. Make sure, the hardest part about resin, honestly, that I have found is that the bubbles kind of take over a bit. Your heat gun will help with that. So let's do our best to, when you stir it, try to just stir it around, not lift and keep, incorporating more air into it as you stir. So let's see, let's get this out as best we can. And then we slowly pour this in. Now this will take 3 minutes. We have got to stir this and incorporate this for 3 minutes. I have never had any trouble. I've always done 3 minutes, give or take a few seconds, and it's always worked for me. Okay. So now for 3 minutes, we get to watch this just go round and round, but get this incorporated. Now you can do, if you don't want to do matchbooks, you can do anything. I mean, I have done little Barbie shoes. I have done all kinds of little fun things that maybe mean something to you. It would be fun. We've seen Amy do flowers, and that's really beautiful. But maybe there's something fun from your childhood or a friend that you know that maybe you've got some postcards or an old friendship bracelet or, just something that could be really special and just means something to you and or your friend. So, honestly, you can do anything. And I've also made, I've done, if you don't want to do a full tray, I have done coasters. And those are really cute too. But people they love this. When I did my tray, the one I'm going to show you that's complete, it actually is from places and memories that I share with my husband, where we got engaged, some of the travel we've done, just all kinds of fun things. So it just, matches from like the first place I worked, all that kind of stuff. So there's so many ideas that you could have. Okay, let's keep going. I'm not quite there yet. Keep stirring. And if you have the heat gun, that is the best way to help get rid of some of these bubbles. It helps dissolve them and bring them to the surface. I know it's not the easiest thing. I've never had a ton of luck without getting a lot of bubbles, but just be patient. And honestly, even if there are a few and they're left, it's not the end of the world. Clearly, this is a little handmade project, and it's pretty cool. Okay, so let me just keep a time on it. Almost there. You can see the bubbles. Make sure you're scraping the sides. Okay, and once we start pouring, clearly we have only a certain level we can go to because the trays have handles that are cut out on the sides. It may not cover totally over the top of all the matchbooks. It will get resin on everything, but it may not totally encase it flat. But I have found that that is absolutely no problem. So let's see where this takes us. Okay, I think we're about at 3 minutes. Okay. So here is my ready to go. I just kind of always make sure that there isn't a lot of dust or anything that's going to be floating on the top. So we'll do our best. Let's see what happens. I just pour it on. Oh, you know what? I should be wearing gloves and I should be wearing a mask. That's for sure what I forgot to tell you. Make sure you wear your gloves, and a mask is very important because this is really, really strong. But since I'm making the video, I'm not going to be wearing the mask, but I highly recommend it, and definitely I should have put my gloves on. Okay, let's see how much this does for us. I'm going to stick my gloves on really fast now. It starts to level itself out, but I always move it around. And lots of times I take a spoon and continue to move it around so that it is all over. Okay, we could mix another batch. I'm going to keep moving this a bit so that it, and then I'll get my heat gun out. Yeah, let me do a quick mix of another batch and then we can refill this. Okay. Lots of times I do one coat and then I let it completely dry. And then I go back, and you will need to scratch the surface, which I know sounds really weird, but you scratch it so that it has the next layer of resin has something to adhere to, and you pour right over that. So that's also an option if you, let's see, make sure sorry you're not seeing all this, but I'm just making sure I'm even, and gonna mix some more up real fast. Okay. Here I go. Okay. Let's just give this another stir. And if I weren't stirring this right now, I would be using my heat gun, but that's okay. We'll do that when this is done. Use the heat gun to get the bubbles out. See, you can see some of those big bubbles. And but one thing I have to say, I'm really pleased with the way the matches didn't absorb any of the resin and get translucent in the paper. I will show you the difference. In the finished tray that I'm going to show you, I did not use the matte sealer. And I'll show you the difference. See, these look exactly like they did when they weren't encased, which is fabulous. So I highly recommend you do the extra step if you want it to really look like this. So that's a really good thing. And that just takes, this is one of those processes that takes, it takes about 12 hours to really solidify. So what I do is I just leave it overnight. You can cover it with a, I want to say like a strainer, if it's small, that fine mesh, because it's nice not to get anything that could fall into it. Because it will, if you've got dust on it, it will continue to stay on that dust. Okay. For time's sake, I'm going to pour this in. So this is taking about a full container of hardener and resin, just for for supplies. Okay, this is looking better. Things are getting covered. We'll start getting those bubbles off. Okay, good. I'm excited. Now this is working. Okay. Gloves on. Now, watch how the bubbles start to dissipate. Can you see that? It's awesome. Oops. Make sure that's covered. I love it. I love watching this. It's kind of like magic. The only thing you don't want to do is overheat it, because then it can start to get kind of a mottled effect within the resin, which I have done. But you kind of learn each time you do it. And this will also settle a little bit, so it won't be quite as it heats up and warms up. Unfortunately, it's not super warm in here today because we are in an ice storm, which I think most of us are. But we'll do our best. Oops, there I see. You can see where it's not covered. But see, here's my line. So you don't want to go over that line with your resin. Okay, so what we do is we continue to get all the bubbles out. And we could sit here for quite a while and you guys don't want to watch this anymore. So you know what? I'm going to show you my finished product. And hopefully this will inspire you to do something really fun. It really is such a cool thing when it's done. And it gets so much conversation, and it's just such a fun little memory. So let me turn this off. I will move it over. Take my gloves off. And I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to show you the finished product. They do get heavy, actually. They get really heavy when they're done. But here it is. This is the one that I have that I finished a while ago. It has all kinds of fun memories on it, and I just love this resin. I think it is, the stuff you can do with it is endless. So thank you for joining me, and sorry for the couple blips. We'll get better as we continue on with this live format. I hope I inspired you to do something fun, and stay warm, stay cozy, be safe out there in this weather, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.